fantastic, thank you.
All right, thank you for coming to the conference. Is there anything specific you wanted to talk about today?
Yes, I know Addison took a test a few months back, and I just wanted to go over her scores because I have seen nothing.
Okay, well, I have her achievement folder right here, and so we can talk about that. And so let's see. Put that over there. So the last test we took was in March of this year.
Okay.
It's called the Nationwide Test of Achievement. So if you notice the top of the test here, it is all the demographic information. So Addison's student ID is on this side of the paper, and on this side you can see my name, the school, district, and then Micah's name. And so on this side with the student ID, you can log into the portal and you can view the scores yourself. So you can access this information as well if you don't receive a hard copy today, along with other things. Are you familiar with the achievement test?
I'm slightly familiar, but not really with this one.
Okay, so basically an achievement test is used to measure their knowledge of basic subjects. So we use the information we gather to help alter our instruction to better help the students. The scores are broken up into two sections, so right here, and it helps us analyze the data. So up top here is the norm reference scores, and at the bottom are criterion reference scores.
Okay, can you kind of explain those to me? Because I don't know.
Oh, sure, that's no problem. So the norm scores are how Addison performed compared to a group of students at the same grade level. So basically, the creators of this test chose around 10,000 third grade students across the nation. So this set of students is meant to be an accurate representation of the third grade population that will be taking the test, which we then compare with other student scores as well. So the norm scores are then broken down into different subsets, which are here on this side, and then we show exactly how your child did in each section. So we have the reading, mathematics, language, listening, spelling, and science and social studies, and they're all tested in this area. And as you can see, both math and reading are broken down even further to show how she did within those certain area subsets.
Okay, can you explain these battery compartments? Because I really don't know what those are.
Okay, no problem. So basic battery, which is right here, is tests only basic subjects of language arts. So that includes reading, English grammar, with reading, spelling, and mathematics. The complete battery, which is under it here, is everything that's in basic battery, but it also includes science and social studies. And those aren't always tested. And so, also if you look here, you can see that there are numbers, the number of items, and then the raw score. So the number of items are the number of questions for the students, and then the raw score is how many your child got right.
Okay, so do you think you can explain all these other numbers to me so I can better understand Addison's score?
Okay, so let's start with the national percentile. So as confusing as it is, this is not a percentage. This is just a comparison of where your child ranks compared to the national sample. So for example, for language, she ranked right here, it is 81st. So this means that she scored better than 81% of the students in the national sample. So as you can see here, this is the bell curve. So as you can see here, she falls well above the sample average. So the average is right here down the middle, and she is above it.
So the curve is just a visual representation of everything that's going on that.
Exactly. So, and these bands here, the bands are additional visual representation. So the dot, which is right here, is placed on the child's observed score. In this case, it was 81. The band that's going through the dot, it shows the standard error of measurement. So basically, no test is perfect, but they can determine the student's true test score mathematically. So for this test, the standard, let me see, it's the SEM, and so it's plus or minus 3. So from her overall percentile.
Okay.
So now going back to stay nines. So they are just another way to report the scores, and they are less accurate, but they're easier to interpret.
Okay.
So stay nines break down the normal distribution into 9 parts. So it's 1, 2, 3, which are lower stay nines. 4, 5, and 6 are in the middle, like average, and then 7, 8, and 9 are upper stay nines. So the higher stay nines. And so if we use language again as an example, you can see that she's in the 7th stay nine, and so that means that she is above.
Okay, that's awesome. So what are scaled scores? Because I thought that was the overall score for the section.
Okay, so the scale scores are the converted raw scores that use a new chosen scale to represent students' performance.
Okay.
So the scale score also can show growth over several years when compared with the same norm group. So is there anything you don't understand or you'd like me to go over?
I think you covered pretty much all of that part. Do you think we can talk about this bottom half?
Yes, so this bottom section, which is the criterion reference information, is how your student did in specific content areas.
Okay.
So the content cluster, which is right here, will show you the entire area, and then they're broken down into specific scales. Are there any of those that you don't understand?
Yes, this inferential comprehension.
Okay, yes, so inferential comprehension. This is how well students are able to read between the lines.
Okay.
So this measures how well the students are able to gather information from the story that may not explicitly be stated, so pretty much inferencing and summarizing.
Okay.
And so, okay, let's talk about how it's scored. So the raw score, which is right here, this is the number of questions Addison got correct in each area. So the number possible, which is right next to it, is the total amount of questions in this area. So there's low, medium, and high, and that's basically how your student falls compared to the national sample, which are listed next to that. And you can think of them as below average, average, and above average, if that makes it a little easier to understand.
Okay.
Okay, so let's look at some of Addison's scores so you can get a good example of what I mean when you look back at this.
Okay.
So as you can see here, she scored above average in all the language components. So capitalization, punctuation, usage, and sentence structure.
Okay.
When we look at her writing portfolio here, I pulled it up on her e-portfolio, you can see that writing is one of her strong suits, or language in general is one of her strong suits, and she also did fantastic in the life science, which is right over here. She did really well in life science, and she got 7 out of 7. So there are 7 problems, and she got all 7 correct.
Okay.
So now we can go to math. We can see that she needs a little bit more practice when it comes to measurements, but we can see from her work samples here that she's improved greatly since we took this test. So if we were to give her the test again, I'm confident that she would rank a little higher.
Okay.
And let me see.
I don't understand how she is in the medium group for sight words, because when we practice at home, she does great.
Okay, so I agree, she does really well, but I think that this was just the simple number of questions, and that's what breaks it down to how she got ranked for average. She got 10 right out of 13. And so that placed her at average because with so few questions, there's not a lot of room for error.
Okay.
So she does grasp the concept overall of sight words, and so this is nothing really to be too concerned about.
Okay,
So
okay.
do you have any other questions?
No, I really think that covers everything.
Okay, well then, here is a handout of some of the terms that we went over, just in case you want to look over them again.
Okay.
And I think that'll be it. And also here are the hard copies of these if you don't have time to log into her portal.
Okay, awesome. I really appreciate you meeting with me. I learned so much.
Okay, so thank you as well. Feel free to contact me if you need any help.
All right, thank you. Have a great evening.
You too.